So we have something of a event source with only one message. We can draw an avatar when we receive an enter message. We want to do nothing. Well, don't draw an avatar. Maybe we do something. Don't draw avatar when we receive, let's say, observe message. We want to move an avatar when we get the event member moved, and should not get event member moved for observed members. And I put up here, gen server sequence must not start over from 0, which we had hard-coded 0 before, and in this video we will fix that. So we got to recreate all the previous behavior that we had, re-enable all the simple primitive in movement, redo logic for joining WebRTC, which I don't think needs an event for that. That'll just be maybe a happy side effect. Not sure yet. Maybe we record it as an event just as a fact that's happened and just not do anything about it. So not sure. We now get the local events because we are creating them, and maybe some of the things that we do up here for creating entities, we'll ignore those messages ourselves because we're using broadcast from, so we won't get them, and then just draw it in the client very quickly. So first one, gen server sequence must not start over from 0. I did this off screen. Just do it to get diff. Is that previously, you see here, the sequence is 0. This is on, what line is this on? This is in space server, line 94. Uh, 97 now. So the when you initialize a space server, we are setting the space state, so it's OK and this map, which we're retaining the space, creating two ETS tables, and setting a sequence number, which now the sequence number will fetch the previous max sequence event given a space ID. And what this does is query from EN event stream max sequence where for all event that have the same space ID, find me the max one and repo 1 that value. And I've tested this. We can test it again. So here I will jump into I'll just delete this. So if we look in the back end, and if we want to query any sequence events, let's see, repo all exr dot spaces event stream, there are none. So if I create a new space, and now I enter it, the only message I can create now is that I've entered. And this looks bad. That argument's an arithmetic expression. Server, space server handle cast. This, drop. Okay, it didn't save it, so what happened here? We gotta fix the book here. Okay, we're handling cast. We got event and a payload. Handle cast, we got event and a payload. Handle cast. Bad argument in arithmetic expression here. Oh, this state sequence may not have been a number. Interesting. So what did it come back as? If we do max sequence from, oh, if it is empty, right, max sequence of, let's say, something that doesn't exist, you get nil, right? So we'll make a fix for that. In spaces, what happens if you do or 0? So compile. Now it gives you 0. And let's try this again. So if we go here, go to this page, I enter. Oh, okay. Error here. Bad argument in arithmetic expression again. Same thing. Maybe I need to restart here. Now we've got it. Okay. So now we should have one event in there. One event in here. And we can do this again. We'll just close this. Oh, the gen server will still be running. So we can close this. And the gen server is running because we set a 25-minute timeout. So space server has a timeout here, which is passed over and over again. So unless there's no activity for 25 minutes, it will stay alive. But we can kill it from its supervisor. So we can start space and we can stop a space given its slug. So we could say space supervisor stop space, and that will stop it. And now if we go in here, the previous sequence is 1 because here it is. It was up to 1. So when we load it now, it'll up it. I mean, it will store 1. So the next sequence will be 2. So if we enter here, that will start the space. I enter, and now I get the events. We have 2. So I believe this is working now. Now we want to enable drawing an avatar when we receive an enter message, which I think we tested that before. We can test this again. So we would use 2 browsers and basically look around for a cube. So browser 1 is here. Presumably this has already sent an enter message, and so the second browser will just miss that. But when the second browser enters, it will send an enter message to this browser, and this browser should be able to see something. So it doesn't have a spawn point. It'll be at the origin, so I'm going to back up a little bit. You can't really see, but let's open up Firefox and go to the same space, enter, and there's our cube. And moving around here doesn't affect that cube at all. So let's see if we can fix that. So this one is done. We want to do this one. And the way we'll do this one is set up an observer when a camera is moving around. So if we go to space, I think it's scene manager. And we have create camera. Yeah. Okay, create camera. For unload, save the camera position. That's great. Okay, at what point do we start observing the camera? Oh, we say camera ready. Okay, so who's using camera ready? Space broker is. So camera ready became a signal. $sign camera ready. Okay, so alright, so this is starting to forward the camera movement. Alright, so if we got camera ready and we got the enter event, which means that they're entering, then that means we want to forward camera movement and do we forward mic preference? Yeah, mic preference, well, maybe one thing at a time. So forward camera movement, yes. What is forward camera movement? Forward camera movement takes signal observables camera moved and is throttled. Camera moved. What is this thing? So in the scene manager, it's simply this. Signal hub, observables, camera moved. Next. Now I don't know why this needs to be its observable of its own kind. I want to see like how many of signal hub, how many of those are there? So we've got local events, which are JavaScript to JavaScript, stuff that you're interested in looking at. You've got incoming events, stuff that could come from the channel. You've got outgoing events, stuff you want to send to the channel. And then you've got some observables, which are exceptions, because these could just be local events. The one thing being that camera moves around a lot, so I would say it's a special kind of local. So like high frequency stuff. I agree that hand and camera should be their own things on here. let's try it out. So local camera movement is an emitter. I see why I did it, because there's only ever going to be one signal in it, and it's not different kind of signals. Whereas the rest of these are, and they always have a value. No, these are subjects, not behavior subjects, so they don't always have a value. Okay, let's do one thing at a time. So let's just keep that. So we have a camera moved observable. All right, going back, where were we? Got distracted. Okay, so camera forward. Okay, so we're getting this observables, and then we'll pipe it to space channel. And now we want to push it somewhere else, though. So assuming, okay, so are we getting this? Camera moved. XR manager observables will send the next one. What about scene manager observable camera move next? Oh, here it is. In the create camera, will send this next. And in the XR manager, you will send this next. Okay, those are both fine. So space broker, we need to listen for it. We don't want everyone, just so sample it every 100 milliseconds. And then we'll go space channel push. Push where? Hold on. Let's do outgoing. This signal hub outgoing. Emit. Event. And the value. Message can be member moved. So let's define that type. Member moved. And what's the issue here? So who moved? Member ID. And sure, it's gonna have this. Who moved, and what's the new position? So over here, who moved? Payload is member ID, this member ID, and the message, which is the pause rot, right? So pause rot is message. install. And we don't need to do this. So now we should be stashing a bunch of member moved when we move around. So we've got some problems here due to us removing some types. So let's just cancel some of these things out. So setup web RTC. Let's just make comment this whole thing out for now. And comment this out for now. Where's the space channel handle in event? Missing or unexported function. Space server process event 3. I think it's okay. It's here. Anyway, maybe it needs to be recompiled or something. Maybe I have to say when PID is PID. Alright, so let's just see if they get persisted. So we'll go here. So I'm in, I'm moving around. You can't see, but I'm keys. And in my terminal, oh, we have sequence 31. Remember, move all over the place. How about rotation? I'm dragging. What do we get here? Moving 42. Start into streams, receiving events. Does it only ever receive one event? Just want to see how many events we're receiving. File, inspect, create event. We'll just say okay. Sure, I don't think we need to see every event. So max demand, minimum demand. Maybe we're just not sending the events fast enough, or we haven't met their demand, so we're just sending them one at a time, fulfilling the demand because the broadcast guy is managing the demand internally. So handling demand, it will send it directly, so that's why it sends it one at a time. Well, anyway, okay, so we're persisting those. Now we need to, we're forwarding to the other client. which means the other side should receive a bunch of movement events. Let's test that out. So we've got browser 1, open up Firefox. So if we move around here, we move here, we get member moved, all kinds of data. Here's the member that's moving, and here's its position rotation, so we can move them there. And very good, let's close this one, and let's close this one too. So we'll go to Scene Manager. I believe we had something before where something when somebody moved, incoming on member moved to do this, but now it's all in here. So we want to do this stuff, right? Copy and paste that stuff. Do that. Let's see. All right. mp.id and dash position from. I would just get the pause right from it. So this, copy that, paste. So const pause and rot equal that. So this can just be pause. This can just be rot, and the rest will be okay. So receiving event, member enter, member moved. Okay, what is going on up here? Let's close some windows. Hopefully this can now show us when another member is moving. Open Firefox. Okay, got the rotation working. Backing up, whoop, back up, whoop. Okay, very good. We're producing tons and tons of data here. Every time we see one event. Okay. Okay, so move the avatar when we send the avatar moved. Don't draw the avatar when we receive the observed message. And let's just see if this works. I think it should work because we only set up the observer. Oh, that's a good question. Let's follow this through. Now we create the camera before we take the choice. But we only set up forward camera movement where is it? Forward camera. Oh, it's space broker. We only do this if you ever selected enter. Okay, let's just test it. So here we have entered. That's fine. Right. Enter. Now let's see if we get an observe message. So we'll open up Firefox. Come over on this side and we'll observe. So we got member observed. If we back up, we see nobody. Now if we move around, we're not even getting those messages, which is great. Okay, so that seems to be working. We don't even get the messages. Observers aren't tracked for their movement. Don't draw avatar and should not get events for observed member movements. Okay, we can take a break here. On the next video, we'll try to look into all the primitive. Also leave. Yeah, we need remove avatar on leave event, but we need to produce a leave event. So figure out how to produce member leave event. Not one-to-one with momentary disconnection. All right, let's save this.